This 2014 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by T-Mobile, by Edward Jones, a big financial services firm that doesn't act that way, by Sonic's new boneless chicken wings, and by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball.
A beautiful Thursday in Southern California. We're in Anaheim at Angel Stadium for Game 1 of the American League Division Series between the Angels and the Kansas City Royals. Warm day, 93 degrees. Wind gusting just a bit. Great forecast here for Game 1. And tonight's batting order is presented by T-Mobile. Alcides Escobar leads it off for Kansas City, followed by Nori Aoki. Lorenzo Cain's the center fielder, hitting third. Then Eric Hosmer in the cleanup spot. Had a huge triple the other night in that comeback. Billy Butler is the designated hitter. Alex Gordon plays left field. Salvador Perez, who knocked in the game winner in the wild card game. Then you got Omar Infante, and batting ninth, it's Mike Moustakas playing third base. Jared Weaver getting the start for the homestanding Angels.
I think Jared Weaver is one of the most underrated starting pitchers in all of baseball. 131 and 69 in his career. 3 of his last 4 seasons, 18 or more wins. He is outstanding.
Weaver, of course, going up against Jason Vargas and a couple of dirtbags. Long Beach State teammates in 2004. Developed a great friendship then and were teammates with the Angels last year. And they've met head-to-head 3 times in their big league careers, and it always seems to bring out the best in Vargas. He's 2-0 with a no decision. Weaver 0-2. But tonight, totally different stage. Game 1, the American League Division Series. Hey, Iron Man, how about that defense?
Yeah, I could talk about the guys with the gloves. You look in the outfield, you got Josh Hamilton, Mike Trout, and Cole Calhoun patrolling the outfield. On the infield, Ibar and Kendrick with a double play combination. You got David Freese at third, Albert Pujols at first. Jared Weaver on the mound, and behind the dish tonight is Chris Iannetta.
The 6-man umpiring crew. Paul Nauert is behind the plate. Chris Guccione at first. Jeff Nelson makes the calls at second. Jim Reynolds at third. And down the lines, the crew chief, Ted Barrett, down the left field line, and Lance Barksdale patrolling the right field line. There's Alcides Escobar making his way to the plate to lead this one off for the Kansas City Royals, who ended their 29-year drought by making the wild card game and then coming from behind to beat the Oakland A's. And Jared Weaver doing what he does every time he takes the mound here at the Big A. Remembering Nick Adenhart, who was killed by a drunk driver in April of 2009, his teammate, and a guy for whom the Weavers named their firstborn son, Aiden David Weaver. The first pitch. Strike one to Escobar.
This Kansas City Royals team, you heard Cal talk about it. They will run, they will bunt, they don't take a lot of pitches, they don't strike out, they want to put the ball in play early.
Breaking pitch at him, fooled 0-2. Escobar went 2 for 4 and stole one of those 7 bases for the Royals in the wild card game.
Well, it's nice to see that 90 miles an hour for Weaver. One of the things that's happened to Jared Weaver over his long and illustrious career, he's lost a little bit off his fastball. He used to throw 92 plus, but he's kind of changed the way he pitches. You'll see a lot of breaking pitches to this young Kansas City Royal team.
Made him look bad. 1 down.
There's a lot of talk that Weaver has found his fastball a little bit and been more successful here in September because he's got a little bit more velocity, but he's always had that.
Well, usually when you get in October, the weather cools a little, you feel a little better. Not here in Anaheim, where it was 93, like you said, Ernie.
A couple different variations of the breaking ball. The real slow one that can get you off speed in the high 60s, and then a harder one that looks like a fastball.
Here's Aoki. Takes a strike. Aoki was 0 for 4 in the wild card game, but did deliver the big sacrifice fly in the 9th inning that tied the game. Up the middle, base hit. Aoki is a guy who's tough to defend. He has a lot of swings up there and makes contact. Very tough to fan, and he reaches on a single right up the middle.
He hits the ball all over the ballpark, which is more difficult to actually set your defense. Now, the shortstop here is thinking he might hit this ball in the hole. Fools you, goes right up the middle.
Now, there are guys on this Kansas City side who have more stolen bases than Aoki does. He was 17 out of 25. But he is one of those guys near the top of the order, always a threat to go. And opponents have stolen 25 out of 30 with Weaver on the mound this year. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Well hit, but right into the glove of David Freese at third for the second out.
Lorenzo coming up there swinging at the first breaking ball that he sees. I can't imagine him looking for that, but he can't. It shows you how aggressive this team is. Nice play by David.
Sometimes you need just a little luck to go your way. Remember, Cain, in second at bat, he doubled over the third baseman's head down the line. This one, Freese able to make the play.
It's a game of inches for sure. That ball goes into the corner, second and third, maybe second and a run in, and Weaver's in trouble.
Here's the cleanup hitter, Eric Hosmer. And he takes a strike. Hosmer instrumental down the stretch in that game as well with the triple off the wall. That came in the 12th inning. He would score on a high chopper. Royals would add one more, and then they would celebrate.
Well, you're going to get a lot of different looks from Weaver. That one was kind of the quick move to first. He'll hold the baseball. A lot of those are called by Mike Scioscia, but he wants Weaver to concentrate on the hitter. 99% there, maybe 1% on the runner.
Throws over again, and they have got him. Aoki caught off first, and it wasn't even close. We head to the bottom half of the first here in Anaheim, and tonight's batting order is presented by T-Mobile. Cole Calhoun leads it off. Mike Trout, all-world, hitting second. Albert Pujols in the 3-hole. Howie Kendrick is the cleanup hitter. You got David Freese, who has certainly some postseason pedigree at third base. Eric Ibar, the shortstop. Josh Hamilton has been bothered by a rib injury, but he's good to go here in the opener. C.J. Cron has a couple of home runs off Vargas. He's the DH. And Chris Iannetta behind the plate.
You know, on the mound today, Jason Vargas, you can see his numbers, 11 wins this year, signed a big 4-year contract with the Royals. It's going to be a tough start for him, though. 8 days ago was the last time he pitched. The last time he won was September 3rd, almost a month ago.
He will face Cole Calhoun, who leads it off for the Angels here in the bottom half of the first and swings at the first pitch. Fly ball to right center field, pretty well hit, back toward that wall, and Lorenzo Cain tracked it down. Calhoun gave it a ride, and Cain, with those long strides and that big reach, hauled it in.
Lorenzo looked like he had it all the way, but does show off his athleticism right here and his vertical leap. Nice play. Gets back to the wall, knows where it is, makes his jump away from the wall so he doesn't hit it on the way up.
Look at the reaction from Jason Vargas. Now the first pitch thrown And Calhoun almost took it out. Here's Mike Trout.
Well, Kane said two can throw the leather. You snatch my line drive, I'm going to take one away from you.
Trout's a guy who's listed in so many offensive categories you can't even possibly begin to list him. But you can shorten it all to say he's going to be the MVP of the American League.
Trouttober.
His first taste of postseason baseball. And he pops it up behind short. Alex Gordon makes the play, 2 up and 2 down.
Well, early on, that's a good sign for Vargas. He needs to pitch on the inside part of the plate, not in off the plate. He needs to establish his fastball at 89 in there, which will set up his changeup and vice versa. He needs to have his control. And I guess when you miss 8 days, it more affects a control pitcher than a power pitcher, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But little breaks like that, we didn't get a chance to talk about how great this outfield defense is for Kansas City.
Here's Albert Pujols.
That is the pitch that Vargas has to get early to be successful. He is going to pitch these right-handers in. He's going to rush them in. He'll set up that changeup away.
Misses down low, a ball and a strike. Moustakas playing near the line at third, and Escobar in the hole, and the second baseman Omar Infante right behind the bag at second.
There's a shift for Pujols, Cal, all the way over, second baseman behind the bag.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of right-handed shifting going on. You have to be really sure that you have a pull hitter up there to play this sort of defense. See a lot more with the left-handers.
Pull hitter and doesn't run really well anymore here at this point in his career.
The count no pitcher wants against Pujols, 3-1. In the air to center. And Kane's got it for the third out. That one much more routine. This is the way he started the first inning. And Jason Vargas says, thank you very much. We're going to the second. So you say you want to get your picture on the Goodyear Superior Performance graphic. All you got to do is do what Madison Bumgarner did in the wild card game last night in Pittsburgh. Boy, did he throttle the Pirates as the Giants moved on to take on Washington. Eric Hosmer leading it off. He was at the plate when Aoki was picked off to end the first. Weaver runs it inside and misses, 2 balls and no strikes. Nobody in the American League had more wins than Jared Weaver. Max Scherzer and Corey Kluber tying him for the most with 18. And he falls behind 3-0.
You can see both pitchers, when they get behind the hitters, they're going to more opt to go soft as opposed to run that good fastball in there.
Yeah, one good thing about Aoki getting picked off, if you're Hosmer, it almost feels like you're second at bat. I've got a chance to see him in the first. Now I got a chance to see him again.
Over with the automatic, 3-1. Weaver, after a 7-6 start, has gone 11-3 the rest of the regular season, and he walks Hosmer to lead off the second.
Shows me something right there by Weaver, doesn't it? 2-0 changeup, 3-1 curveball. He's identified Eric Hosmer as a guy that he doesn't want to beat him.
He has the confidence in that curveball, which is really a touch pitch to get over behind the count. He will throw it 1-0, 2-1, 3-1. But you're right, he wasn't going to give Eric a cookie to hit out of here this early in the game.
Billy Butler at the plate for the Kansas City Royals here against the Angels. We are in the top half of the second inning. Welcome all you who have been watching the Baltimore Orioles and their 12-3 win over the Tigers in Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Here we are scoreless in the top half of the second. Didn't mean to. Rounded to first. Pujols, there's one. Back to first. Got him. Ibar almost got taken out at second, but still had time with Butler running to complete the double play.
This is some really nice footwork and a quick release by Albert. And then Eric Ibar avoids, he has the presence of mind in knowing how much time he has. So he can sidestep the contact at second base and still deliver a nice throw to first. Good defense, both by Pujols and Ibar.
So here's Alex Gordon now with 2 down.
Always marvel of those infielders, especially the middle infielders who have that kind of internal clock. Know how long it's going to take on a check swing by Butler, that Ibar could just take it kind of easy and get that throw over when he was comfortable.
Yeah, Cal, it sounded like you knew sort of what you were talking about. You've been there a few times.
Most of the inexperienced infielders, period, haven't worked their internal clock good enough. The most important thing about preventing your mistakes is to know how much time you have.
Ball and a strike to Gordon, who led the Royals in home runs and runs batted in. He went 0 for 5 in the wild card game with a couple of strikeouts, but was one of those 7 different Royals to steal a base. The 2-1. Breaking pitch. Tantalizing. And he came up empty.
If memory serves, he stole it standing up too.
Again, more of the same for Jared Weaver. If he gets behind you, he is not going to just lay it in there. He loves to change speeds. 2 different speeds on that breaking ball. Good pitch there to Gordon.
Those 2 different speeds be slow and slower.
Yes, yes, it is.
2-2. Missed inside, count full.
I'll throw a name out to you, Mike Boddicker, my teammate for a while. He used to throw it slower and slower when he knew you were looking for it.
He tried to throw that breaking ball, got him to swing, and then try to get him inside. He just missed.
There it was again. And Gordon fouled this one off. Got the Thunder Sticks going here in Anaheim. Got the best record in baseball. And they got their leader in wins on the mound in Jared Weaver. Fly ball, shallow left. Ibar quickly back, but look at Josh Hamilton, who called him off and made the sliding catch for the 3rd out. Touch of class in left field from the former MVP.
Casey Stern here in Atlanta. Thanks for watching bonus coverage of the MLB playoffs on TNT. If you want to continue to watch the Royals and Angels, just head over to TBS. We appreciate your understanding. We now return you to regularly scheduled programming on TNT.
Welcome back to Anaheim, where the Royals and Angels are scoreless through an inning and a half of Game 1 of the ALDS here on TBS. I'm Matt Weiner. Including presumptive AL MVP Mike Trout, the Angels have 3 recent MVPs in their lineup tonight, including Albert Pujols, and as you just saw to end the inning, Josh Hamilton. Hamilton's presence is significant because he's played just a single game over the last month and just 89 on the season because of injuries, most recently a rib cage and chest injury. Mike Soch is hitting him 7th tonight. Hamilton says he's treating his at-bats like a spring training game, just hoping to make contact, but clearly a Hamilton, even not 100% sharp, is better than no Hamilton at all.
Thank you very much, Matt. Bottom half of the second inning, and Howie Kendrick with a ball and a strike. He's the cleanup hitter. And Cal, I wouldn't say he's your prototype cleanup hitter, second baseman in the 4-hole.
No, but it's a good offense that scores a lot of runs, and you don't have to have a guy that hits home runs in the gaps. You just have to have a guy that drives in runs, and he's been very effective hitting out of that spot.
He's knocked in 75 runs, homered 7 times, and he leads the team in hits with 181. Good for number 8 in the American League. And he's a cleanup hitter who can steal a base for you. He's 14 out of 19. Little squibber to second, and Infante plays with the bare hand. And Cal Ripken cringes.
I marvel at that, actually, that people have the confidence that they can reach up with a bare hand and catch it. It might have took a little bit of a bad hop because of the spin.
Omar Infante, Omar Vizquel. You don't need any leather.
That's exactly right. Remember, Omar Vizquel did it in a no-hitter with a 2-hopper up the middle.
Here's David Freese. The Chevrolet pitch tracks, the pitch arsenal this season for Jason Vargas. In the air, shallow right. At the last second, Aoki got a beat on it and put it in his pocket for the second out.
You know what's interesting there? You look at the reaction by Aoki. He lost that ball for a while, and finally, when it came back, he caught it at the very end.
It's a good shot of the sky right now, because this is the time when you'll lose the ball. Yeah. Ball goes up, and it just blends in with the sky at this time of the night. So you don't want to take, you want to remind all the outfielders and the infielders, don't take your eye off the ball when you're running after it.
So 2 up and 2 down here in the second for the Angels. And Eric Ibar steps in.
Ned Yost was talking about Vargas. We asked him why did he struggle down the stretch. His last 3 starts, his ERA was 9. He said he's better when he's north and south. Sometimes he gets very rotational when he's in his windup, meaning that he never gets that arm out in front of his body.
There's been some good indicators early on. He spotted some good changeups down and away, and he's made that pitch inside. You saw Kendrick jam a ball to second base. He got in a little on Trout. So that's a really good sign early in the ball game.
Ibar knocked in a career high 68 runs this year. Fouls that away.
There's that good changeup right there. 82 miles an hour, roughly about 7 or 8 miles an hour different from his fastball.
Talked about the fact that Vargas and his good buddy Jared Weaver, in fact, they're even going to go on vacation together in the offseason, has really pitched well when the two have been matched up together. A couple of those when he was a member of the Seattle Mariners. That's down low.
I personally would not buy the tickets until I see what the result of this game is. Personally, I mean, that's nice to say that, but
there's been a little change of plans. Something's come up. Neither one of those guys thinking anything about vacation here as game 1 of the American League Division Series is underway, and Ibar to center field. Kane charging hard, and he makes the play. Second time in this game that Lorenzo Kane, who didn't play organized baseball until his sophomore year of high school, has made a spotlight play. Top of the third in Anaheim here on TBS. And Salvador Perez, Tuesday night, the at-bat he will never forget. Winning the game in the bottom of the 12th, 9-8 over the Oakland A's and sending the Kansas City Royals here to the American League Division Series. That moment, I mean, Kansas City Royal fans obviously just reveling in it, but to watch his reaction after the game, and then he talked to Matt Weiner and then just gave Matt a big hug after he got doused with the Gatorade. Oh, that was a night. Off speed and fooled Perez. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
He set a franchise record this year, 146 games caught. That beat out Darrell Porter, who caught 145. Ned Yost said he comes every day to the ballpark, big smile on his face, bouncing in with energy every single time.
I thought it was really interesting. He goes to Winterbonk and catches another 60.
The count is 1-2. Weaver into the wind. Up high. 2-2. So for a young kid in the big leagues, he's had some great memories, and one of those was at the All-Star game 2013 when Mariano Rivera came on, and how emotional that was. Salvador Perez was the catcher. Doesn't get much better than that in the memory bank. He waits on a 3-2 from Weaver. And he got him. Second strikeout for the Angels right-hander. It's Chevy Truck Month, time when truck guys like Cal and Ron can depend on great offers on the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Talking about the Chevy Silverado. Nice look from above here in Anaheim at the Big A. Here's Omar Infante. There are about 45,000 fans here. When they see that pitch, want to grab a bat.
See, I can hit that.
It always looks easy on TV. That's a breaking ball in the 60s.
There's another one fouled back. And it's 0-2.
Sometimes you just have a team's number. Hasn't faced this team since 2012, but he's 5-0 in his last 6 starts. His ERA 0.87.
It's pretty good.
So both pitchers just a little north of 50% on the use of their fastball.
0-2 misses outside. A ball and 2 strikes.
I think the roster has changed quite a bit since 2012. With the evolution of some of the players have changed a little bit.
Well, we were talking about before that the Angels with those 98 wins, a lot of that came against the American League Central, where they went 24-9.
Mike Scioscia, longest tenured manager in baseball. Champions in 2002. Good cut by Infante, straight back.
It looked like Scioscia was enjoying the calmness so far. Good defense played so far. Not a whole lot of base runners and not any stolen bases.
Got him with the breaking pitch. 2 up and 2 down. 3rd strikeout for Jared Weaver.
This is a little bit about that defense. Jumping up, taking a hit away. Hamilton making a really nice sliding catch. And this was a really tough play. He made it look pretty easy.
Literally caught it in the breadbasket.
The line drive right at you. It's very hard to see if that ball is going to carry out. When you make a commitment, you're in no man's land.
The Angels shift with Mike Moustakas at the plate. David Freese, the only infielder, the 3rd baseman, playing in the shortstop slot on the left side. Moustakas the other night went the other way and spoiled the shift against Oakland.
Only 20 hits this year he had to the left side, but hitting coach Dale Swaim, who got the job in late May, has been trying to work on that with Moustakas all season long.
Threaded inside. 2 balls and a strike. And you mentioned that with Dale Swaim moving to the hitting coach position, it opened up a spot in the 3rd base coaching box, and that's where you see Mike Jerschley who's a career minor league guy, played 999 games in the minor leagues and managed over 2,000 games in the minors, and this is his first year in the bigs, and he's on a Kansas City team that has ended a 29-year playoff drought. So you talk about players who are happy to be in at this level and on this stage. Same goes for Mike Jerschele.
My teammate in 1981 with the Tulsa Drillers.
Tried to catch the corner, didn't. 3-2.
If you're the Kansas City Royals hitters and watching the pattern of Jarrett so far, he has been throwing a breaking ball 2-1 quite a bit, and he has thrown a number of times a 3-2 breaking ball. That's the kind of information you can use when you find yourself in those spots.
Missed down low, and it's a 2-out walk to Moustakas. Second walk issued by Weaver. And it's the top of the order in Escobar. So the Royals have had a base runner in every inning. It was Aoki in the first who was picked off. Hosmer walked to lead off the second, erased in a double play. And now Moustakas at first with 2 down. Escobar struck out his first time. Snap throw back. Tried to catch Moustakas napping. He's one of the few Royals who doesn't have the green light.
Interesting. The Angels, though, have a little bag of tricks up their sleeve after watching that wild card game on Tuesday night.
I think the best way to deter any running game or a secondary lead is to execute on your pickoffs, or execute, show that you're willing to do it. Just don't fake it, show it.
Fouled off the breaking pitch, and the count even, a ball and a strike.
You'll see a lot of second base and shortstops try to hold a runner on from stealing third base, and they're moving in and faking all the time. That doesn't do any good, really. Put a pickoff play on, show that you can execute the timing of that play, and that'll have a much bigger effect.
Escobar, who knocked in 50 runs and who sparked the Royals out of the leadoff spot late in the year, fouls it back 1-2.
I think so far I've only seen 90 miles an hour once. He's pitching in the range of that 86, 87, 88 range.
I talked to him yesterday about the approach when you get to the postseason. When the adrenaline starts going, he said the whole key, and I know you know this, Ron and Cal, that you just say, I don't have to do it all. I don't have to do too much. Do what you do. Throw over. Yeah, and it looked like Moustakas leaning just a touch.
If you're watching the signs, the horns mean a pickoff play or a throw over. We'll have to watch. So many times it could be horns 1, horns 2, meaning different types of pickoff plays. He held the ball and made a quick move to first base.
1-2 is outside and the count even.
That can be valuable information if you get to second base, if you're stealing third, because you have the chance to look in to see the signs.
How's that information being relayed by the Angels? Is that Mike Scioscia?
From Mike Scioscia. Mike Scioscia was one of the early guys that were controlling the running game. Used to be the catchers had that responsibility, but I think Mike was one of the early guys that said, okay, I was a catcher. I have an idea how to do this, and I want to control that.
And doesn't it make it a lot easier on the catcher behind the plate who's trying to call the game? Now it takes it out of his hands. He doesn't have to worry about it. He knows he has a former big league catcher as a manager who can make it easier for him.
Yeah, the managers always would put in a pitch out, because they had strong opinions on that. But then Mike actually came along and said, let me control, let me see. Sometimes I want to see if the guy's leaning. I want to see if someone's bunting. So there's a lot of other uses for the pickoff than just to hold the runner.
The 2-2 curveball drilled to left. Hamilton goes back. He can't make the play. Moustakas is around third, and he's going to be waved, and he will score without a throw. The Royals break out on top 1-0.
Many times you talk about the walk to lead off the inning, but sometimes that 2-out walk can come back to haunt you.
This is the first time we've seen this slow curveball hit, and it's hit by Escobar. We've seen so many great catches. I thought Hamilton was going to have a shot at that, but he could not get to it, and Moustakas was able to score. You're right about that walk. And Weaver was very angry at himself because to walk the 9th hitter in the lineup, something you don't want to do.
Here's Aoki. Singled right up the middle his first time. There was that pitch again, and Aoki fouled it off.
Here's that breaking ball that gets a little too much of the plate. He drills it off the wall, and by trying to make that catch, it just bought Moustakas enough time to clear the bases.
So Escobar's 2-out double has the Royals on the board, 1-0 here in the third. And Aoki looking for a 2-out ribby.
It's interesting. We saw Aoki call time twice in the wild card game against the Athletics real late. Saw him call for time there. So we always talk about pitchers want to have a tempo. Sometimes hitters want to have a tempo. They don't want to stand in that box too long.
There's a lot of sneaky pitchers that will quick pitch you, start in their windup.
So you struck a nerve, Ronnie, with Cal right there. No balls and a strike. To the left side. Ibar on the run, throws him out. And that'll do it in the top half of the third. But the Royals get on the board. The leadoff hitter, Alcides Escobar, run scoring double, 1-0. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Good night to fly here in Anaheim. And it is game 1 of the American League Division Series. The Royals leading the Angels 1-0 as we move to the bottom half of the third. Josh Hamilton leads it off, and the Royals go into their shift. And for this one, Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, moves to the right side.
I honestly like that play much better when you have that shift. Why? Because at least you're keeping your shortstop in the position. If you move Escobar also, now you have really 3 guys playing out of position.
And your third baseman generally has a good arm.
And it's right at Escobar, who didn't have to move. 1 down. Scouting.
Or just maybe just a straight numbers game. A graph. An index card.
Saber something.
I was watching to see what kind of timing Hamilton had. He hadn't had a live at bat. But he's pretty amazing. He can come back streaky one way or the other. Hit 2 balls hard in that at bat. 1 foul, 1 fair.
Here's the rookie designated hitter, C.J. Cron. Hit at Moustakas, who throws him out for the 2nd out. The suspense continues tomorrow on FS1 at 3 o'clock Eastern, featuring Game 1 of the NLDS between the Giants and the Nationals, followed by Game 1 of the Cardinals-Dodgers. Don't miss the action on FS1. Well, if you're a baseball fan, you can't wait till tomorrow. You got every series in action. You have those FS1 games, and we've got the bookends on TBS. Chris Iannetta fouls it back. Got that Baltimore-Detroit series in Game 2 around lunchtime, and we'll wrap up the night here in Anaheim.
See Rusty Kuntz, the first base coach for the Royals. He's in charge of the defense. He's setting all the players in the proper position.
And normally that signal up and down with your hand is more like straight away.
Vargas with a 1-1 to Ionetta. You could see Paul Nauert, the home plate umpire, shake his head. The ball was inside. It's 2-1.
You know, the problem with the guy on the bench, he can't really see where straightaway is. And so one of the cool things.
In the air to left, well hit. Back to the track goes Gordon. That ball sails away, and we are tied. After the first 8 Angels are retired, the number 9 man goes yard.
This looks like a hanging changeup right down the middle of the plate. If you don't locate your changeup well, it's only an 81-mile-an-hour slow fastball right down the middle.
Need a bomb off the bat of Ionetta.
He had 7 home runs in the regular season. And he takes Vargas deep here in the 3rd to tie it. Here's Cole Calhoun. And that's a nice play by Hosmer at first. But the game is tied. Ionetta goes deep. We head to the 4th, 1-1. The 2014 American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. Well, Chris Ionetta dialed, I used to say dialed 8 when you went deep. I don't know if anybody dials 8 anymore to go long distance.
That's right.
But he did, and we are tied as we head to the 4th. So the number 9 hitter's been instrumental for each side in this game. It was a walk to Moustakas, who scored on the extra base hit by Escobar, and then it was the bomb by Ionetta to tie it. Weaver throws a strike to Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, we got the meat of the order coming up now, 3, 4, 5. And although we talk about all the stolen bases and manufacturing a run, the 3, 4, 5 spots were 6 for 6 with runners in scoring position in their win.
Yeah, so you can get them on there and they can swipe bags, but you're going to have somebody knock them in. And boy, the Royals answered. That was such a bizarre game. And John Lester on the mound with a 7-3 lead in the bottom half of the 8th. You'd think it was a lock, and it was far from it.
What did Alex Gordon say before the game, the wild card game? He said, we just seem to find a way to win. And that was a great example of this resilient Royals team.
And Cain was right in the middle of all that on Tuesday night. He went 2 for 6. He knocked in 2 runs. He scored 2. He had a stolen base. And tonight, he's been magnificent defensively.
Angels have had 3 days off. The Royals have been playing postseason baseball for over a month now.
Yeah, that's the way the month of September played out, because the Angels just had it on cruise while Oakland was sputtering, and then every night was try to win a game and see what the Tigers are doing. If you're the Kansas City Royals, they wound up a game back.
It's a great pleasure to have a chance to rest your guys by clinching early, but the risk is that you're not playing, that high-level competitive ball, that you might get a little rusty, and then when you try to flip the switch back on, it doesn't come back on right away.
A ball and 2 strikes as Weaver goes into the line. Oakland had played so well and in control of the American League West for much of the first half of the season that the first time the Angels had at least a share of the lead, it was August 16th. And once they got that, they just took it and ran, leading by as many as 11.5 down the stretch. Struck him out upstairs for the first out here in the 4th as we check in with Matt Weiner. Matt.
Well, EJ, there are a lot of interested parties here at the ballpark watching the Angels, none more so than Dave Weaver, Jared's dad. His sons combined, Jeff and Jared, 235 career regular season wins, a World Series ring, a no-hitter as well. Jeff, by the way, is about 4 down here in the row. You come to virtually every one of Jared's starts. Is this fun or agonizing?
Both. For both, it's really stressful for us, especially the playoffs. It gets to the point where, it just seems like all the stress on him in one game. So hopefully we can get the offense going here and score some runs.
You coached your sons from the time they were kids, so you know them well. Did you know when you saw the curveball hanging there a little bit to Escobar that it might be trouble? It might be trouble. You're right. Yeah, it's a little flat, but I think he's going to settle in here and get moving again. So hopefully, like I said, we can score some runs and he can get himself figured out. After a 4-year playoff drought, there are thousands of Angels fans here hungry for a win tonight. Dave is literally hungry, though. On the nights of Jared starts, he does not allow himself dinner until Jared is out of the game, EJ.
So he doesn't want to eat anytime soon. On a hop to Ibar, who throws out Hosmer for the second out. There are a lot of Little League moms and dads at home who watched that interview and have said, yeah, we know how tough it is to watch our sons pitch. Imagine you go from that point up here to the major leagues. It's got to even intensify 100-fold.
Well, the hardest part is while you're sitting there and you can see just hoping that he gets through this inning, is that fans, they will make some remarks if you're not having a good day, and your parents will be able to hear it, and it's a tough thing.
Thick skin is nice to have in a situation like that, as Billy Butler takes the ball 1-0.
You had the best, Cal. You got to put on a uniform with your dad.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to have him coach me in the same fashion that many dads get to coach their kids. He could come in and look at my swing and kind of offer an opinion, but he didn't get the chance to see many of those amateur games. But the good part about it is he saw a lot of the big league games, up close and personal.
A ball and a strike. Butler takes 2-1. He grounded into a double play in the second. Kind of a check swing down to Pujols, who turned the 3-6-3. He knocked in 2 runs in the wild card game. There it was, the big breaking pitch again, and Butler waved at it. 2-2.
I just started thinking about my dad. I probably got my dad thrown out of a couple games by making a grimace at a bad pitch or so. And most parents don't have a chance to actually offer something to the game, but my dad could actually yell at the umpire from time to time. Get me a better strike zone.
On the ground to Ibar. Plenty of time, and throws him out. 1-2-3 inning for Jared Weaver. Mom and Dad love it. Where will you be the next time history is made? Be there for all the action in 2015. Go to MLB.com/season tickets to reserve your seat today. As part of the California Spectacular out there in left center field, all the rocks, the plants and the trees, and the waterfall, and a favorite aiming spot during batting practice for the Angels. Mike Trout leading it off.
There's no better place to have that kind of Disney feel than here in Anaheim.
Vargas retired Trout on a fly ball to left his first time. And he's behind 2-0. Two and one. Trout, 23 years old. Just turned 23 this August.
This is the perfect 2-0 pitch right here. Trout likes the ball down. This ball's right on the inside edge and elevated enough. If there is a weakness in his swing, it's that spot.
Skies that one into shallow center. Infante back. One down. Moments ago, we spoke with the Royals manager, Ned Yost. Ned, this has been some week for the Kansas City Royals. How do you get them to come down if you try to from what happened Tuesday night?
Well, you know, Ernie, this is a group of young guys with a lot of enthusiasm, and you know, they play with a lot of energy and you know, a lot of heart every single day. So they were tremendously excited and thrilled, and they're tremendously excited and thrilled today. I mean, playoff baseball is a blast, and it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be exciting.
Well, the Angels certainly are trying to show you that they can defend the steal. Is that going to discourage you from trying?
No, that's not going to stop us. We're going to, you know, we're going to go every opportunity we get.
Cal, I think Ned found your question amusing to some extent. No, it's not going to deter us. Breaking pitch missed by Vargas to Pujols. It's 1-1.
Well, one way you defend it is by not letting the speedsters get on base. And Jared's done a nice job of that so far.
Popped out of play by Pujols, the three-time National League Most Valuable Player.
He has worked so hard on his swing his entire career. He's made it about as simple as you could have. No stride, kind of has that bat up and just rakes it through that middle of the plate.
Shattered his bat, and Moustakas will throw him out. 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom half of the fourth. Vargas has a couple of no decisions against the Angels this year. Pitched against them in May and in June. That June start, he only lasted 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned, and 3 home runs. 2 to Crone and 1 to Trout. Here he faces Howie Kendrick.
It amazes me that when you talk about the great second basemen in the game, you talk about Ian Kinsler, maybe Brandon Phillips, Chase Utley. Howie Kendrick's name never comes up. Always has flown under the radar. One of the best in the game.
That's a lot of RBIs for only 7 homers, too.
Ball and 2 strikes.
You start to see the second time around, he established the fastball in. Now Howie's going up there looking for the fastball, and now he fooled him with a couple of changeups. And then right back inside again.
The count 2-2.
It's a huge difference pitching at home and on the road for Jason Vargas. You know, it could be just happenstance in this year, but because usually you pitch at least as well at home or better.
Two from Vargas to Kendrick. Couldn't get him to chase, and the count full. There's David Freese waiting on deck. The former Cardinal who has had some of the greatest moments in World Series history. Now in his first year with the Angels. There's a legendary Kansas City Royal, Brett Saberhagen. Right back at you, Brett. 3-2. And Kendrick strikes out to end the fourth. 1, 2, 3. Go the Angels. We're heading to the fifth.
This 2014 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Viagra and by Jim Beam. Make history.
6, 7, 8 hitters due for the Royals here in the top half of the fifth inning in a 1-1 game. The good friends Jared Weaver and Jason Vargas battling on even terms through 4 as Alex Gordon leads it off. Missed with the big breaker.
The only 2 guys in the field you can call a dirtbag, and it's a compliment.
That's what they call him at Long Beach State. There's a strike, 1-1. There you go. 2004. You know who else was on that team? Troy Tulowitzki. That was pretty much a tough guy pose by those two, wasn't it?
Vargas was supposed to be a better hitter than Tulo, huh? Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, DH. He played first base when he didn't pitch.
He looked like he had a hitter's scowl on just a minute ago.
See a lot of those, you know, like guys like Derek Lilliquist, the Cardinals pitching coach. Man, that took forever to get there, and that's a strike. 2-2, but Derek Lilliquist was a great hitter at the University of Georgia and pitcher.
This is a super slow breaking ball right there.
Just don't see that kind of pitch anymore.
In the air, left center field, tailing away, and it's going to fall. Gordon safe at second, and Mike Trout had to lose that ball in the lights.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He had an angle looking at it, then looked up in the lights and had to play it off one hop. Looks like he's approaching it, puts his hand up almost to shield himself from the glare of the lights. And he does a good job of finding the ball again.
Well, there's the lights, but sometimes it's really just the height of the baseball. Certain height, that ball will get in the lights.
And some stadiums have a bank of lights that are bigger than others. This is a long, thin bank. So you're right, it's the height.
That's just the 3rd hit for the Royals. And under any other circumstances, that ball's in the glove of Mike Trout. But the Royals will take it. Leadoff runner on at second. And here's Perez. Well, you never know in these games the little things. You never know if a ball lost for a moment in the lights turns the tide.
Every pitch, every hit, every 2-out walk can come back to haunt you.
Ball and a strike. Perez had a big cut. It's 1-2. 17 home runs and 70 runs batted in the regular season. He was second on the team. And one of our favorite stats that we like to look at, how guys fare against like the top 10 in wins in the American League. Perez hit .305 this year. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Well, we talked about small ball by the Royals and that wild card win. They could try to play a little small ball here too. They can hit something to the right side. Perez wants to get a base hit, but he also wants to get Gordon over.
Breaking pitch lined hard, foul past third.
Well, if you know the hitter is intentionally trying to hit the ball to right field, that curveball then becomes a power pitch because you're waiting longer to try to move the ball to right field, and you're right on time on the slower breaking ball.
Just missed. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think that's a good call by the home plate umpire. That ball's down. See on the pitch tracks. Looks like he might have caught the corner there, but it looked down out of his hand.
Iannetta tried to frame it, brought it up.
Yeah, mislocation. Looked like it was intended to be away. Again, because he was right on the breaking ball, forced him to read that and make an adjustment on the pitch.
3-2 pitch due to Salvador Perez. And time called.
Saw the Royals do that against John Lester in the wild card game a couple times, and Perez there getting a late timeout call.
To left field, pretty well hit. Josh Hamilton back and at the wall, makes the play. Gordon tags at second and standing at third. Perez came close, but Hamilton hauled it in.
Tried to sneak a fastball in, hit it all the way to the track. Gordon makes a nice read on this one because if the ball goes off the wall, he probably won't score. But with no outs, he wants to advance to third if the catch is made.
We've seen some good outfield defense so far from both sides.
Well, the go-ahead run 90 feet away.
In the daytime, that ball's probably gone. At nighttime, the ball doesn't carry quite as good here.
The Angels bring the infield in with Infante at the plate. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Some of the dynamics going on in the infield now for the Angels, Cal.
Well, you got the infield in. You're looking for a position where you have the angle, and you're starting to realize, okay, are they going to put a contact play on? Are they going to try to score the run? So you're looking for some sort of indication from Gordon over there. Is he going or is he reading the ball through?
That's toward the gap in right center field. Caught by Trout, but it's going to score the run. Here comes Alex Gordon, and the Royals lead it 2-1. Infante, who had a career-high 66 runs batted in, drives one here and in here with a sacrifice fly in the fifth to break the tie.
The Royals offense, we talk about it being crazy, stealing bases, but they get people in from third with less than 2 out. They're very good at that.
Mike Moustakas looks at the breaking pitch, 0-1.
Toronto was the only team better at 59.4%, bring him in, than Kansas City.
Moustakas drew a 2-out walk in the third and came around to score on a double by Alcides Escobar for the first Kansas City run. He bats now with a run in, nobody on, 2 out, and 3 Angels on the right side of the infield.
Now there's the percentage. 59.4, nearly 60% for the Blue Jays, but the Kansas City Royals are right behind them.
Again, the slow breaking pitch. 1-2.
Vargas and Weaver both are showing you that it's not about lighting the radar gun up. It's about mixing speeds, changing speeds.
On the ground, that's an easy play. And the third out as Ibar throws him out. But the tie is broken. Omar Infante, a sacrifice fly, scores Alex Gordon. And it's 2-1 in the middle of the fifth. It's time for Records and Milestones presented by Jim Beam. Wild card game against Oakland, won by the Kansas City Royals in 12 innings. Had 4 stolen bases in 1 inning. Had 7 stolen bases from seven different players in the course of the game, and 5 of those scored. And that's why they're here tonight in Game 1 of the American League Division Series. For more records and milestones, by the way, go to BleacherReport.com. David Freese leads it off. Well, the Angels have made the most of their 1 hit in this game. It was a Chris Iannetta solo home run in the third. You see Mike Trout lost that ball in the lights in the top half of this inning, resulting in a double for Alex Gordon, who came around to score. And David Freese launches to left, and we are once again tied. Another long ball answer by the Angels.
Freese further cementing his legacy in the postseason.
Looked like he tried to make that fastball on the inside corner. David was sitting all over it.
A .260 hitter in the regular season, only 10 home runs. Loves playing in October.
He started to get his power swing, his home run swing in the second half. Swung the bat much better down the stretch.
Big swing by Eric Ibar and came up empty, a ball and a strike.
The Royals, they work to score a run at 2 swings by the Angels.
We always talk about those shutdown innings. Hasn't been the case for Jason Vargas tonight. Tied at 2. Ibar lays down the bunt, and Hosmer, did he get him? Yes, he did. Chris Guccione right on top of the play at first. If that ball is a little bit more towards second base, Ibar beats it out.
That's an outstanding play by Hosmer, because he's got to decide. He's the only one that can cover first base. Can I catch it and still make the tag? So normally you draw a line from where you are straight to the catcher. And if it's right at you or towards the first base side, I can make that play myself. If it's a little bit to my right, I got to let the second baseman or make the second baseman make that play. Really nice play.
He was the first Royal to win a Gold Glove in 2013, the first Royal first baseman to do that. And so with 1 down, here's Josh Hamilton.
I mean, to further explain that, the reason the runner is going to beat, Ibar is going to beat the pitcher to the bag. So therefore, he has to make a choice. Do I cover the bag, or can I make the play and make the tag?
Hamilton shattered his bat, and he is 0 for 2.
Another thing about that play, which is interesting, is you know that the runner, like Ibar, is going to try to take an angle about 5 feet in foul territory at first base. So when you anticipate making that tag, you got to make sure you get the foul territory, because that's where the runner's going to be. You know why he won gold now.
So with a run in and 2 out, here's C.J. Cron, the Angels' designated hitter. Cron's dad, Chris, played with the Angels in '91 and the White Sox in '92. And when C.J. was playing in the 2013 Futures game at Citi Field, his dad was one of the coaches on the U.S. squad. Way out in front, a ball and 2 strikes.
He's got good power to the opposite field, good power to center field too.
He has 2 home runs against Vargas, and he just reached out off the end of the bat. Infante made a nice play, had to hurry and got him. That does it for the Angels in the 5th, but not before they tied it. David Freese going deep. Follow the postseason with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. You got highlights, scores, live radio broadcasts, replay reviews, all you could ask. Get the at-bat app and do it now.
You know, this is kind of how the regular season went for these two teams. They faced each other 6 times, 3-3, but the Angels hit 10 home runs to just 1 for Kansas City.
And their 2 long balls tonight have this game tied at 2. Escobar shortened up as if to bunt. Made Freeze jump at third. And it's 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes. Got him off speed, and Escobar doubled in the third. That came with 2 outs after a walk to Moustakas and plated the first Kansas City run. He struck out in the first. Here comes the 0-2 from Weaver.
We've only seen that a couple times now. Weaver trying to elevate that fastball. Even if it's fouled off like that from Escobar, that's a good pitch for Weaver because it sets up that breaking ball in the dirt.
Strike 3 to the Kansas City leadoff hitter. Escobar goes down on strikes as we go to Atlanta and check in with Casey Stern.
All right, EJ, thank you. The early game was in the balance in the 8th, and then an Andrew Romine error opened the floodgates in a half an inning that saw 12 batters, 8 runs, and took nearly 35 minutes. Big statement by the Orioles, not a good one by the Tigers bullpen. Back to you guys in Anaheim.
I think I've seen that movie before. Thank you, Casey. Here's Nori Aoki. How about the Baltimore Orioles? And how about Buck Showalter, fellas? You talk about consistency as a manager. He has a chance this year to be the manager of the year for the 3rd time in his career, and they would come in 94, 2004, and 2014. 3 different teams.
Well, he's been successful everywhere he's gone. He's a great baseball guy, has a knack for evaluating talent, really good at managing a bullpen. And so the depth of the team has gotten better and better over time. And they had a really good year.
He's got a great baseball mind. He also does a great job with his ball club concentrating on who they have, not who they don't have. I mean, they didn't have their catcher, Matt Wieters, for all the year. Manny Machado went down. Chris Davis is serving a suspension. They just keep rolling along.
Tigers and Orioles, 11:30 pregame tomorrow on TBS. Casey Stern and Pedro Martinez, Gary Sheffield get you set for the day, and it will be a big one with every series resuming.
Weaver's introduced his changeup in this inning. Almost saved it. Changed speeds on his breaking ball. But used his fastball up and used his changeup to Escobar.
That was high and away, and it is 2-2. Aoki singled in the first, was picked off by about 1.5 miles, and he grounded out in the third. Great contact hitter, tough to fan. And I did that to him. 2 down.
Never fails.
He didn't want to swing it, but he decided to at the last minute.
I always doubted that somebody actually tries to foul off a ball intentionally. It looked like that's what he tried to do at the end.
Almost trying to take it out of the mitt of Chris Iannetta. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Swinging at the first pitch. No trouble with the lights this time for Mike Trout. And that is an easy 1-2-3 inning for Jared Weaver.
This 2014 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Sprint. And if you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Zipping right along here in Anaheim, bottom half of the 6th inning. And here's Chris Iannetta. If you're just joining us, Jason Vargas set down the first 8 Angels that he saw, and then with 2 outs in the 3rd, the number 9 man, the catcher, drove one deep to left to tie the game.
So hard to predict the postseason, don't you? I mean, Vargas is not good down the stretch. This home run by Iannetta, of course, in his first at bat. ERA of 9, hadn't pitched in 8 days. I mean, there are probably 15 reasons you could come up with that he would struggle in this ball game. Just the opposite. Pitching coach Dave Island.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And this time Vargas wins the battle, 1 down in the 6th. Get Scott Miller's answers to all the playoffs burning questions with the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report. Download Team Stream for your iPad, your iPhone, or your Android device today.
I was looking for Chris to go up there and sit on a breaking ball. He had a chance, hits the fastball for a homer, and he has a chance to pick out a pitch then. Changeup wouldn't be a good one to drive, but you got a first pitch breaking ball that could be, if you're looking for it, be a good pitch to drive. Ends up getting in a tough pitcher's count, then he had to swing at a changeup that was a perfect pitch for Vargas.
Angel fans here have gotten out the cell phones and flickering lights around the Big A here in the 6th. Ball and a strike to Cole Calhoun, who led this bottom of the 1st off, swinging at the first pitch from Vargas and nearly knocked it out of here. Lorenzo Cain made a great catch in center field. And a big cut. It's 1 and 2.
I think you got 50,000 people asking for an encore. Only in the 6th.
Moments ago, they did flash the rally monkey up there on the big screen.
Big part of 2002 when they won the championship. That and the Thundersticks. I was at that 7th game when they played the Giants. Never heard a stadium louder than this place.
Breakout year for Cole Calhoun after playing 58 games last year. He hit that ball well into right field for a 1-out single. Went to playing in 127 games this season, hitting .272.
Turns on a fastball inside. Had some pretty good swings, but I only saw 2 pitches in the first two at-bats.
3rd hit of the night for the Angels and the 1st to stay in the park.
I was trying to read his lips. He's talking about it, and maybe he was saying, I just feel too jumpy. I can't stay back. I can't wait.
Here's Mike Trout. Breaking pitch stayed high, 1-0. Calhoun stole 5 bases this year, was caught 3 times. Trout led the American League, knocking in 111 runs. Vargas with the kind of move there that says, just letting you know I know you're there.
You know, you can be aggressive on the base running in Kansas City's way by stealing and trying to take bags, but Scioscia's teams have always been good going 1st to 3rd. Major League best, 40.7% going 1st to 3rd on singles to the outfield. And the outfield is playing deep right now. Guarding gets the double, so it's plenty of a chance if there is a base hit to the outfield other than straightaway left, they get a chance to go 1st to 3rd.
Not sure if Vargas wants to hold the runner close, or he just hasn't decided if he wants to pitch to Trout.
It may be the latter. Trout is 0 for 2. and takes a strike. 1-1. This is a huge inning for Jason Vargas. For the Kansas City Royals this year, it's all about, in terms of bullpen use, the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. They have been lights out. Getting through the 6th, especially with a lead. Tonight it's tied. That was close but missed.
Mike Trout's got good discipline on the inside part of the plate, but the first 2 times up, they've gotten him out on the inside part of the plate. So he can either take a chance and open up a little bit, or stay disciplined and not expand that ball inside.
You know, Vargas' last 12 starts in the regular season, only 1 double play did he induce, but it's hard to do that to Trout. Where do you get a double play? On a ball down in the strike zone? That is Trout's strength.
Calhoun with the lead at first. Trout waiting and popping it up into shallow right. Aoki with a long run and makes the play. Mike Trout 0 for 3. Let's take a look at tonight's playmakers presented by the all-new Chrysler 200. The postseason career of the guy at the plate now, Albert Pujols. 18 and 52 and a .330 average. Look at that. Yes.
37 extra base hits in the post.
He bats here with 2 down and the go-ahead run at first. Salvi Perez thought about throwing down there to try to catch Calhoun, but didn't let it go.
We talked about Vargas. He didn't have much room for margin for error. He had to establish that fastball in. The 3 at-bats to Trout. He's made big-time pitches to jam him and get him to fly out.
The 1-0.
Well, think about it. He signed as a free agent to Kansas City. He was formerly with the Angels. So those occasional times when Trout made outs, he was probably watching from the bench. Good pitch count for Vargas.
Ned Yost, Dave Island. Two balls and no strikes to the dangerous Pujols, and Vargas delights the crowd here in Anaheim with another soft toss over to first.
With Albert, he's such a seasoned hitter. He's such an intelligent hitter. You can't just get away with a 2-0 changeup down the middle here. He can sit on a pitch as well as anyone in the game.
401 players were picked before Albert Pujols in the 1999 draft, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame. 3-0.
You got to believe he's looking for a pitch to swing here, 3-0. He's a career .434 hitter on a 3-0 count. And 6 bombs.
Calhoun with the lead at first in a tie game, 2 out. And the 3-0 to Pujols. Takes a strike, 3-1.
Vargas has made the pitch when he had to. That was paint on the 3-0 pitch. Looked like Albert wasn't swinging though. Looked like he was taking. He wanted to be sure that he would come at him.
An equally dangerous pitch here. 3-1. They're at first and second with 2 down. Royals manager Ned Yost making his way to the mound here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. With Howie Kendrick due at the plate, the Angels cleanup hitter and the team leader with 181 hits. Kelvin Herrera has been loosening, but it's not his time yet.
How interesting is that? As you see the pitch sequence, the Pujols, he had thrown a lot over to keep Calhoun close. Not really close with any pitch except the 3-0 pitch. Good sinker down. How interesting is this? Wild card game, big game, James Shields. In the 6th inning, he takes him out. He decides to leave Vargas in.
Getting Herrera up, he had to have something in mind. When would I use him? Against who?
Kendrick is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. David Freese, who has homered, is on deck. That's Cole Calhoun, who singled with 1 out. Pujols, the runner at first. In the air, right center field. Pretty well hit back toward that wall. And Lorenzo Cain and Aoki back there, and it's Aoki who makes the play. The Kansas City defense comes up huge again to keep the game tied. Cain reached, but Aoki was able, and it's still 2-2. Lorenzo Cain's already made 2 great plays in center field tonight. This looked to be a possible 3rd, but no, it's Aoki. There's nobody happier in the ballpark, well, maybe Vargas, than Aoki was, as that kept the game tied 2-2.
We've seen the play by Cain, we've seen the play by Hosmer at first, and this play by Aoki. It was almost like Cain said, I'll take the high road. Aoki took the low road. What a play.
Eric Hosmer leads it off in the top half of the 7th.
That's why most people will agree the best defensive team in the postseason are these Kansas City Royals.
2-0 and that big breaking pitch from Weaver. Throws it again, and this time it's fouled off, and the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What an opener here in the American League Division Series. Tough and tight. The Angels responding each time the Royals scored, and doing it with the long ball. And here we are in the top half of the 7th inning. That's a mile high to right. Calhoun, 1 down. That brings up Billy Butler.
Good pitching, good defense tonight.
Butler is grounded into a double play. And he grounded out in the 4th. And it's 0-1.
When you think about Freese's home run to get it back tied, they're just 1 inning at that point, turning it over to the big 3 in the bullpen. Kansas City can shorten that game, make it feel like it's just a 6-inning game. Different story now, tied.
Breaking pitch hit to right by Butler, and Calhoun has a beat on it. 2 up and 2 down here in the 7th. Well, that's 99 pitches for Jared Weaver. Made 34 starts this year, and in 23 of them threw at least 100 pitches, as high as 109 twice.
Seems like there haven't been a lot of stressful pitches, though. You know, having to get out of jams and making a pitch here and there.
Well, with all those numbers Ernie gave you, would have to think this is probably, though, his last inning.
Here's Alex Gordon. Popped him up in the infield. David Freese is calling. And squeezes it in foul territory. You talk about an easy top of the 7th for Weaver. They're stretching in Anaheim. Heck of an opener here for the American League Division Series between the Angels and the Royals. It's game 1, and tonight's game summary is presented by Geico. Doesn't get any tighter than that. 2-3-0 for each. The runs coming in the 3rd and the 5th. It has been good stuff so far, and I tell you what, if you're Ned Yost, you got to look at that performance by Jason Vargas, giving you 6 solid innings and saying, I will take that and hand it over to Herrera and Davis, and then we'll see if Holland gets in there.
Think about it. It's even better than that. 2 bad pitches, that's all for the 2 solo home runs. But now they're in Kansas City's territory with that 3-headed monster they have that comes out of the bullpen. The first one is Kelvin Herrera.
Jared Weaver, meantime, allowing only those 2 runs, and these guys who are best friends dueling on even terms as we play in the 7th inning. The last time Herrera allowed a home run, it was July 26th. Of 2013. Connor Gillespie of the White Sox got him. Since then, pretty much untouchable.
3 great pitches, throws 100 miles an hour with his fastball, slider, and changeup.
He's got that 90-mile-an-hour changeup. His changeup is harder than the starter's fastballs tonight. Just think about that.
David Freese hit a leadoff home run in the 5th. After the Angels had fallen behind 2-1. And he leads it off here in the bottom half of the 7th.
When you face these kind of pitchers, Kyle, it's almost like you go up to the plate knowing, okay, I got to get this started a little earlier, a little quicker.
It's counterintuitive. Sometimes you feel like you have to start early and go out quicker, but you really have to shorten things up and make it more compact. So maybe if your stride, you want to shorten your stride up, soften your stride up, and use your hands and let the power of the fastball, come off the bat.
That second pitch was 99, but missed again. And Freese ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes in a tie game here in the 7th. 3-0. And a little get together with Perez and Herrera.
Well, you'll see that's just basic nerves from Herrera coming in here in this ball game. I think what was lost in a lot of the wild card game was Ned Yost took out James Shields. He brought in Ventura. He gave up the big home run, but Herrera came in and he also gave up hits also. It did not go easy for him.
There's a strike, 3-1.
Well, with 97 to 100-mile-an-hour fastball, you have a much more margin for error. You don't have to be as precise with your control. You can pitch in the middle of the plate. You can pitch up a little bit more.
A leadoff walk in the 7th in a tie game. As we check in with Matt Weiner.
DJ, down here on the field, players from both sides are still trying to make sense of how the bottom of the 6th ended. When Howie Kendrick came in from the field, he was reenacting Nori Aoki's catch, which somehow got through Lorenzo Cain at the wall and robbed Kendrick of at least an RBI. And while the Royals were warming up, for this inning. Mike Moustakas looked over at Kendrick, said something to him while pantomiming Aoki's catch as well. Everybody's trying to figure out what just happened here.
What it did was end the inning and keep the game tied.
It was interesting. Everyone's out there now. The reason, after the 2-0 pitch, maybe the 3-0 pitch, Herrera was shaking out his hand like something was wrong. And that sinker down and in, that alarmed Perez. He signaled to the bench. He said, hey, come on out. There's something wrong with our pitcher.
Nick Kenny is the trainer. Ned Yost was out there.
Looks like I think they've already called for the left-hander to come in, and they're going to take Herrera out.
What a blow to the Kansas City hopes and to their bullpen. Guy has been lights out, and he cannot continue after issuing a walk to David Freese to lead off the 7th inning. The game is 2-2. Don't go anywhere. The 2014 American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. Tough, tight game 1 of the ALDS here in Anaheim.
But it was
here you go, Ronnie.
Yeah, during that at bat, sorry, Ernie, you could see Herrera after he released the baseball, and there's so much torque he puts on that ball as he pronates that hand. But you'll notice after that ball gets to the catcher Perez, he shakes out his hand like something is wrong. And that's where I think it alarmed Perez, the catcher, and then, of course, the bench of the Royals.
And so they've called on the youngster Brandon Finnegan to come on, and he'll get all the time he needs to get loose after Herrera left with the injury. And if you don't know Finnegan's story, this guy on the fast track to the big leagues. He was pitching at TCU this season, went to the College World Series, was the #1 pick by the Kansas City Royals, and number 17 overall in the June draft. So he went to a high A Wilmington, made 5 starts there, went to AA Northwest Arkansas, and came out of the pen 8 times, and they said, you're ready. And he was ready the other night in the wild card game, wasn't he?
Well, he just showed so much emotion. We saw a great fastball, a great breaking ball and changeup from Finnegan, and really was one of the big parts on why the Kansas City Royals were able to come back. I think this is one of the hardest things to ask a young pitcher to do. Why? You're in the middle of this crowd. Yes, you can have as many pitches as you want to warm up, but your inclination as a young guy is everyone's waiting on me. Let me kind of do it quicker, do it quickly.
Gordon Beckham is the pinch runner for David Freese, who drew the walk from Herrera to lead off the inning. And then Herrera had to leave with some kind of arm discomfort. And so Finnegan gets the call.
Do you have the option of warming up in the bullpen if you want?
No, you have to warm up on the field. Because they make the call in, you got to come in and warm up in front of 50,000.
Little pat on the butt from Mike Moustakas for the 21-year-old Finnegan.
Just pretend you're at TCU. That's probably what they told him.
And he said, I don't think I saw Eric Ibar at TCU.
It's interesting, a veteran player would know to take his time and get ready, but he would need the extra time to get ready. A young guy, they might be loose in 3 throws.
Yep.
Beckham, the runner at first, came over from the Chicago White Sox. Ibar squaring early and lays it down. Finnegan to first. Gets the out. Sacrifice accomplished. Beckham to second. And Ronnie, that's a play a lot of pitchers hesitate on. And here you go. You're in the game. First pitch. I got to make a strike to first.
I think it's worse than ever in the game of baseball today. Pitchers throwing the bases. Finnegan, though, no problem, throws a strike. Kind of handcuffs Osmer just a little bit.
Well, the go-ahead run is at second now for Josh Hamilton.
At some point, he's sitting in his dorm room with TCU. He's watching games and watching Josh Hamilton hit balls out of the ballpark. Now he's got to get him out.
Hamilton went 0 for 2 against Vargas. Way outside, 1-0. Hamilton played in 89 games this year. 263 with 10 home runs and 44 runs batted in. Battling rib issues last month of the season. Didn't really know until a couple of days ago that he was good to go here in the playoffs. Grounded on the right side. 2 down. Beckham moves to third. The designated hitter C.J. Cron is due. He's 0 for 2. Ned Yost going to the mound.
Well, I think the only thing that Ned Yost could be talking to Finnegan about is either talking to him about how to face C.J. Cron or making a decision to go to the bullpen. He decides 2 outs are enough for Finnegan.
So the smile on his face as he talked to Finnegan and then gestured to the bullpen. The go-ahead run is 90 feet away. We'll be back. Tonight's bullpen comparison presented by the Lincoln Motor Company. And you see the numbers for the Royals and the Angels.
But really, when you think about it, 2 different bullpens for the Angels. They struggled early in the season. They made some trades. They brought Houston Street over, and it changed that bullpen completely. And that's when they caught fire.
And a little bit more of a finesse bullpen for the Angels and a power one for the Royals.
Now, Cole Calhoun is the Angels' leadoff hitter, and he's not due for a couple of hitters, but getting the lowdown on Wade Davis.
Well, you have hitters meetings and you go over the pitchers in those meetings, but at the moment of truth, you want to make sure that you remember he's got a good curveball, he's got a really hard fastball, and he throws a really hard cutter. So you want to make sure you have a plan going up there against Wade.
And great in tough situations by that graphic.
The rookie C.J. Cron, the designated hitter, at the plate with 2 down, and the go-ahead run. Gordon Beckham at third. Davis to the plate, swinging at the first pitch and well hit to right. Aoki is back on the track, and he made that catch. Twice tonight, Aoki has saved the Royals. Unbelievable. He ran a strange route, but he made the catch. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Top half of the 8th in a 2-2 game. And Joe Smith is the new Angels pitcher. The guy with the generic name, but not generic stuff.
The Sidewinder's had an outstanding season this year. You can see his numbers on the year. The great thing about it is when they were at their toughest, they did not have the closer Street. He went 10 for 10 in saves in the middle of the season.
Gordon Beckham came on to pinch run in the 7th, stays in the game at third, replacing Freeze. And quickly Smith ahead of Salvador Perez, 0-2.
Smith will mostly spend most of his time throwing that sinker down and into righties, and he has an unbelievable slider that can wipe the right-handed hitter out.
A ball and 2 strikes. This place still buzzing. I mean, it's been one of those head-shaking nights if you're the Angels and you look out there and see some of the catches being made against you that have kept this game at 2-2. Perez wouldn't offer at that pitch as it swept well outside. It's 2-2. The Royals catcher is 0 for 2. He struck out. Flied out deep to left in the 5th.
That's a heavy sinker. And from a hitter's perspective, you're used to picking up the release point at a much higher level. Sometimes you don't pick it up as easily from down there. So the 88 mile an hour seems like it's about 94 miles an hour. It gets on you much quicker.
Well, Smith signed a big free agent contract this winter. And you see a lot of these relievers that are not 9th inning guys still getting big contracts because every manager and general manager realizes how important the 8th inning is in these games.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And he tied him up and sent him to the Royals bench. 1 down. The Kansas City defense tonight. That from Lorenzo Cain. And that from Lorenzo Cain. And this is Cain's in the picture, but it's Aoki. And then to end the 7th on the track, a tip of the cap. And the game remained tied.
I mean, Kansas City just putting a clinic on how to play outfield defense. Even Aoki, who was fooled on that ball, came back to catch it.
Here's Infante. No balls and a strike.
Now you think about a bullpen, a specialized bullpen, where you're starting to chop up the innings to specialized people. The side armor, there's a specialized role within the specialization. So you're going to match up against a righty, but also you can match up against a lefty because he throws the ball down from under and has a good sink to it.
Fly ball to center. Easy for Mike Trout. 2 up and 2 down for Joe Smith. Talk about this guy. I mean, he's just a workhorse. The Mets in 2007 is when he made his debut. 82 games in those years with the Indians. 71, 72, 70. This year, 76 relief appearances after signing as a free agent with the Angels. 74 2/3 innings.
And by signing Houston Street, it moved Joe back to the 8th inning, and that bullpen's just gotten longer and better.
Here's Mike Moustakas, who takes low and inside, 1-0.
I just saw Alfredo moving Ibar back on the other side of second base. Normally they play a bigger shift, but for some reason right here they're going to play a little more true, a little more conventional.
And we talked about the fact that Moustakas the other night foiled the shift. In fact, he went that way a couple of times. Tonight, he has walked and scored a run. He's grounded out. And we'll see if they have a shot at this pop-up, but it's into the dugout.
Well, not only do you have to shift to the hitter, but you have to be smart enough to shift to your own pitcher and his strengths. Smith is going to throw a lot of balls on the outside part that are sinking away. Moustakas more apt to hit the ball that way.
When Moustakas walked, it was with 2 outs in the 3rd, and it cost the Angels because Escobar followed with a run-scoring double. Here the count 2-1 as Smith delivers. In the air to right center field, plenty of room for Trout. Middle of the 8th, game 1, tied at 2. Nine, 1 and 2 due in the bottom of the 8th for the Angels in a 2-2 game. Wade Davis, the 4th Kansas City pitcher, works on Chris Iannetta. think about some of the deals that Dayton Moore, the Kansas City general manager, has made, and bringing big game James Shields and Wade Davis from Tampa Bay, giving up Will Myers a couple seasons ago was huge. We talked about Herrera and the length of time it's been since he's given up a homer, and Davis, August 24th of last year when Ian Desmond took him deep. Hasn't given one up this season.
Yeah, it was an interesting trade, right? Because Davis and Shields brought a winning mentality over to this ball club, the Kansas City Royals. Myers went over one Rookie of the Year, so they gave up a big part to get these two talented pitchers.
2 balls, 1 strike to Iannetta, who homered in the 3rd. Up and in, 3-1.
You know, playoff baseball, roles are expanded. Normally, you might not see Wade Davis in a tie game. You might be holding back, and if you do, he was just going to have the 8th, not the 7th plus a little bit of the 8th. And the same is true for a closer. You might call on him for 3 outs during the regular season, but it's 4, 5, 6 outs in the postseason.
Iannetta was on his way to first. Paul Noward said, "Come on back. You're not done." 3-2.
That was a good pitch. That was a 3-1 little cutter from Davis at 94 miles an hour. See what our pitch track says.
That's a good pitch.
That's right there. I think Iannetta was more fooled by 3-1 cutter slider there from Wade Davis.
Salvador Perez caught that really well too. He's a big guy, gets underneath that.
Tried to catch the corner and missed. It's a leadoff walk in the 8th for Iannetta. The suspense continues tomorrow on FS1 at 3 Eastern. Game 1 of the NLDS between the Giants and Nats, followed by Game 1 of the Cardinals-Dodgers series. Don't miss a minute of the action.
Royals are tempting fate, right? Again, a leadoff walk to start the inning.
Top of the order now, and Cole Calhoun, who put a charge into one his first time. Lorenzo Cain had to catch it, leaping at the wall.
Situation calls for a bunt. It doesn't. It's not 100% sure.
He squared, and third base umpire Jim Reynolds says he did not offer.
Boy, he brought that bat back pretty late. Did Calhoun.
At first glance, I thought he did bunt at it.
Should have called that a strike. He did not attempt to bring that bat back early enough, in my estimation.
Iannetta with a lead at first, nobody out. Calhoun singled in the 6th. He squares again and takes. 2-0.
You change your mind now, Cal, if you're manager Socha?
You might take a pitch. But I like to, if you're going to commit to the bunt, then commit to the bunt.
He loves this count. 2-0. 9 for 16 with 4 home runs. Squares again, this time a strike. 2-1.
And no pinch running for Iannetta, mainly because you're still going to have to defend the running game. You don't want to take your catcher out that throws at a fairly good percentage against their would-be base stealers.
Problem is, if you're an infielder and this ball is bunted too hard, or you're the pitcher, Davis, you could have a play at second base.
Takes again. 3-1. Gary DiSarcina, the third base coach, spent his entire career with the Angels, 12 years as a shortstop, and in the third base coach's box, and there's Ned Yost watching Wade Davis try to work his way out of a trouble spot. Leadoff walk, a 3-1 count. Mike Trout on deck.
I was almost trying to read Scioscia's mind over there to see if he was saying, yeah, let him swing at one right down the middle.
Popped up the bunt, and Moustakas made the play. One down. Calhoun kicking himself.
Well, you got to be able to get this bunt down. Calhoun took a couple of pitches right down the middle. This pitch kind of jammed him enough, and a pop-up and out for Davis and the Royals.
Yeah, just a fundamental. You drop the barrel of the bat below your hands. You could use your knees. He bends down to a good position, but at the very end, drops the barrel of the bat below the ball, and then sends the angle of the ball up into the air.
Well, that brings up Mike Trout, who's 0 for 3. And also lost a ball in the lights that led to a run, led to a double by Alex Gordon, who would come around to score on a sacrifice fly, the second Kansas City run. Big cut, missed, 0-1.
Well, I think Trout has proven to everyone what he can do during the regular season. This is his first chance to show if he's a postseason producer too. No better time than now.
36 homers, 111 runs batted in the regular season. 4th in homers, 1st in RBIs. He also struck out the most in the American League. 184 times.
It's almost like he decided not to run as much. His stolen bases were down. Decided to try to go for a little more power, which he did with those 36 home runs, but it cost him in the strikeout department.
Those 3 letters tell the story of his season. Davis ahead 0-2.
Davis not messing around, just going right after him with fastballs.
Yeah, first fastball around the same velocity, 97, 98 up. Looked like 98 miles an hour right past him on the 0-2. Now, do you make a choice by throwing a lesser speed cutter? Or do you still go up in the strike zone? I would go up in the strike zone. Stay with the 97, 98.
Davis, that one bounced well in front of the plate. Iannetta is safe at second. Perez couldn't find it. Iannetta in scoring position. The go-ahead run in a 2-2 game.
What a nice read by the catcher, Iannetta. Just spikes this breaking ball right in the dirt. Hits the umpire, doesn't even touch Perez, and ends up down at his feet. He can't find it. Iannetta reads it and advances into scoring position.
Wow, Paul Maurer took a shot, and you saw it right there on the replay. And Iannetta, once he saw that Perez was trying to locate it, took off and just did make it. He's the go-ahead run.
Perez is going back out because he and Davis hadn't really agreed on what sign they're going to use. They'll agree now because with the runner on second, he'll have to give a multitude of signs.
And that group would, of course, include Mike Trout, who was 4th in home runs with his 36. In tough times, Davis really bears down. Breaking pitch missed. Count even.
So a breaking ball and a cutter at 95.
Just wonder if Trout changes his mind up there, and just with 2 strikes, tries to hit the ball the other way. Davis is pitching him mostly away with every pitch. We saw Vargas earlier in the game pitch him primarily in with fastballs. Davis has been away with every pitch.
And again, Trout steps out.
I think he was shaken to the fastball. Now they're going to talk about it. It's good though. Right now, don't get intimidated by the crowd. Don't get intimidated by the moment. Go talk it out.
Instead of sitting back there and giving a multitude of signs, and none of them are reading right for Davis, just go out there and get not only this pitch, but maybe the next pitch.
Well, that's the equivalent of a 20-second timeout. Go out there. This is the time to make sure you're on the same page.
The 2-2 from Davis to Trout. Full count.
That was a hard pitch to lay off of.
That's the one I thought he would choose 0-2 and even 1-2, because he just threw the ball right past him. And maybe in that count, you have a little bit more of a jumpy, but at 2-2 count, he was able to lay off of it.
Just did stay alive.
Or Paul Maurer got that one on the arm. These umpires are tough. I'm sorry about that. Got right off the top of the right leg.
That's a pretty good swing on that 3-2 cutter. A little bit lesser speed over the middle of the plate.
I don't think a breaking pitch is a good pitch to Mike Trout. 3-2. What do you think he sees all season long? 3-2 breaking balls.
Deep breath from the probable MVP. Anaheim crowd in full throat. And again, time called. Fouling straight back. He was on it.
That was a good swing at the 98 too. Now what? This was more out over the plate though, where he could get his arms extended on it. I think all good hitters, their hole is up and in, but you got to make a good pitch on it.
Davis facing a 3-2 pitch. Pujols in the on-deck circle. And Trout waiting. Up and in. Ball 4. And they're at first and second with 1 out.
What an at-bat that was by Trout. Davis threw everything he had at him.
0-2 to ball 4.
So you walk the MVP. Who do you get next? Maybe one of the best producers in the postseason ever.
Yeah, a guy hitting .407 in his career in the postseason with runners in scoring position. Jason Frazier is up, getting loose in the Kansas City bullpen. Pujols is 0 for 2. He walked in the 6th. The go-ahead run is at second. That's Chris Iannetta, who led off the inning with a walk. Mike Trout is at first. He also drew a free pass, and here's Pujols.
I was thinking even on a base hit by Pujols, the only thing this Kansas City outfield hasn't done today is throw out a runner at home. Done everything else.
Davis is a hunter and once bagged a 300-pound bear. He's facing big game here. And Albert Pujols wants time.
Pujols has been prone to the double play ball in his career.
Fouled off over the Royals dugout.
And I would think primarily because he hits hard ground balls, makes good contact. And any ground ball that's hit by any infielders, they have a good shot at turning two.
Remember, you got Mike Trout running at first, and he's got a big lead. And if they're going to try to turn two, he'll be trying to disrupt it down there. The 0-2. Perez kept it in front and kept the runners where they are. 1-2.
When you call the breaking ball the curveball, especially a power curveball like Wade has, you're going to anticipate the ball being in the dirt as the catcher to block that ball.
With all of his big offensive numbers, Albert Pujols also the 7th toughest to fan in the American League. The 1-2. In the air behind second. Infante is back and calling and makes the play. Boy, what a big out by Wade Davis.
Really didn't make a great pitch on the last one. He started it out with a fastball away for a strike. Again, another one down the middle that Albert was a little late on that curveball in the dirt, and that breaking pitch was right there. Albert just missed it.
Both Albert and Trout used the 97, 98 to get ahead. Got 2 strikes, went past him, and then went to the other stuff. Breaking ball in the dirt or that hard cutter.
Well, Howie Kendrick steps in to face Wade Davis, and he's fared well against him in his career. 6 out of 15. No balls and 1 strike. Leadoff walk to Ionetta. 1 out walk to Trout. They're at first and second, now with 2 down in a tie game. No balls and 2 strikes. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Wade Davis and the Royals escape damage in the 8th. 2-2 as we go to the 9th. The upcoming TBS schedule is presented by DirecTV. Game 2 of this series, 9 o'clock Eastern on Friday night. Game 3 will be in Kansas City Sunday. Game 4, if you need it, Monday. Game 5, if you need it, back here in Anaheim on Wednesday. Well, we're going to the top of the 9th. And Houston Street is the 3rd Angels pitcher.
Well, he's been almost automatic since coming over here for the Angels. But his postseason career, 9 innings pitched, he's given up a couple of home runs. He's got 3 saves, but he also has 3 losses.
He'll face the top of the Kansas City order here in the 9th. And Alcides Escobar takes. He's 1 out of 3, a couple of strikeouts and an RBI double in the 3rd. That was the first run of the game. A ball and a strike. Street wears the number 16 to honor his dad, James, who was a quarterback at the University of Texas. Played on that 1969 national championship team and also threw a couple of no-hitters for the Texas baseball team. His son Houston is ahead. Ball and 2 strikes.
You saw by those percentages that Street is not like your typical closer, a guy who comes in and throws like Wade Davis did or Herrera, 95 plus. He's got to mix up his pitches, has an excellent changeup.
And Escobar goes down swinging for the first out here in the 9th. Play postseason showdown throughout October. Simply pick the winners of head-to-head player matchups between the Royals and Angels, and you got a chance to win a pair of 2015 season tickets for your favorite team. Go to MLB.com/showdown to play now. With an offer like that, you got to check it out. Nori Aoki takes upstairs 1-0. What a night he's had. Defensively, 2 spectacular plays.
He was a great player in Japan, won a Gold Glove there.
In the air to left. Josh Hamilton, 2 down. Ronnie, when I watch Houston Street, when he goes into his motion, he drags the foot all the way to the far side of the rubber.
He's one of the few pitchers where the slope of the mound really can affect him, because he has that long stride that he takes to almost the first base side and then kind of does a little toe tap to find where the rubber is before he delivers the ball to home. It's as unique a pitching style as you'll ever see.
Strike on the corner to Lorenzo Cain. Kansas City bullpen. Greg Holland is the right-hander. Tim Collins is the lefty. How did he have a cut? 0-2.
He's owning the outside edge with all his pitches right now.
Houston Street saved 41 games between the Padres and the Angels this year. 24 of those coming in San Diego. And he delivers a 1-2 in the dirt, count even. In 2005, he was the Rookie of the Year as a reliever with Oakland. Had 23 saves and an ERA of 1.72. Was with the Rockies and the Padres and now the Angels, and pitching here in Game 1 of the ALDS. He just reached out and slapped it to first, and Pujols just did win the race to the bag. We may not be done yet. Yes, we are. You won't review that. It was close. Cain made it close. But that's out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 9th, tied up at 2.
This 2014 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By the men and women of Union Pacific Railroad. By Sonic's new boneless chicken wings. And by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball.
2014 American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. We're heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Well, the Royals needed extra innings to get to this game, and they're hoping this one goes extras as well. 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th, and Gordon Beckham leads it off. Beckham came on in the 7th inning as a pinch runner when David Freese, who had homered earlier, walked to lead off the inning.
See Collins' numbers. He was sent to the minor leagues to work on his fastball command. He is known for outstanding curveball.
And he got Beckham with him there. It's 1-1.
That's a pretty good changeup too.
And it hit him. Tim Collins wants to know what's going on, and so does Ned Yost.
He threw that big breaking ball. Beckham didn't move at all, and I think it caught him on his back foot. Big curveball comes inside. Hard to tell there if it caught the toe of Beckham. Better angle here.
Looks like it got the shoelaces. Shades of Nippy Jones.
Ned's just seeing it from his bench, from Don Wakamatsu, if they want to challenge that. And you're right, just by a shoelace.
So maybe you can't check the ball for shoe polish, but maybe for red thread. So the leadoff man on here in the 9th in a tie game. Here's Ibar already squaring to bunt as Collins throws over. Ibar laid down a sacrifice bunt his last time.
Well, he's one of the best bunters that the Angels have, so might have a better chance of getting it down than Calhoun did.
Back to the mound. Collins throws him out. And for the second time, Ibar has sacrificed a runner to second. That's the winning run out there in Gordon Beckham.
Perfect form. Right back to the pitcher. But too much speed. Beckham on first base. Got to take the sure out.
We just got the word. A strained right forearm for Kelvin Herrera, going to be reevaluated tomorrow. That key 7th inning piece of that 3-headed monster out of the Kansas City bullpen. But he can only go a hitter tonight. Josh Hamilton at the plate, and Tim Collins, dwarfed by Salvador Perez, going to talk it over.
We're used to seeing this done in the National League by Yadier Molina. Well, Perez does it here in this American League Division Series.
Hamilton is 0 for 3. One and 0. Mike Trout looks on. Tim Collins in a tight spot. Winning run at second. Hamilton at the plate. Fooled him. Ball and a strike.
A guy they weren't even sure was going to be on the roster for this series because of the injuries he's had this year. Swings through a fastball.
A ball and 2 strikes. Made Hamilton look bad with that one, did Collins.
This was a high fastball at 94.
Got it in there on him.
On a non-committal.
The 1-2 struck him out. Hamilton goes down swinging for the second out.
This looks like that's a good straight changeup. Hamilton shortens up, uses wrist, but clearly out in front of that ball.
Ned Yost is on his way to the mound. He has taken the ball from Tim Collins, who hit Beckham and then retired the next 2. The winning run is at second as the Royals go to the pen. The NBA on TNT returns with an opening night doubleheader when the NBA champions San Antonio take on the Dallas Mavericks, followed by the Houston Rockets and the Lakers. It all begins Tuesday, October 28th, only on TNT. Well, bottom half of the 9th inning here. And Jason Frazier coming on for the Kansas City Royals. And they all discuss what the former Toronto Blue Jay, long time, 7 years there, brings to the table.
Well, some people like a lot of information, some people like very little. So you have to make sure that when you go to the guy on the on-deck circle, first ask him, do you remember this guy? And then if he says, yeah, I got him, that means he has his plan already in place.
It's like lining up a putt. Sometimes want help, some don't.
C.J. Cron, the rookie designated hitter. 0 for 3. The winning run at second.
Frazier's in there. They had a tough decision to make. Aaron Crow had pitched so well for this team over 67 games during the year. Lost a little bit of his control and confidence. Late in the year, they decided to go with the veteran Frazier in that bullpen.
There's Gordon Beckham. He's the winning run with 2 outs here in the 9th.
Here that they had a pickoff play on from Perez. It could have been swing and miss. You had Infante covering second, and Salvador was getting up in the throwing motion.
You want your infielders with 2 outs moving around a lot here. You know, you want to play your position, make sure you can get to the baseball.
Yeah, you want to defend the base hit here.
The Angels have 10 walk-off wins this year. Frazier was ready after a long wait, and then Cron said, I'm not. The 1-1. Wow. Well in front of the plate. And big old Salvador Perez just dropped to his knees and kept it in front.
Think about this Kansas City team. We've seen their outfield defense has been amazing all day long. Gordon in left field charges the ball better than any left fielder in baseball. Kane equally, and has a good arm, and Aoki has a great arm.
Frazier has one he likes. The 2-1. Boy, Cron had a good cut, followed it straight back.
He's had good cuts all night, hadn't he, Ernie?
He's in the DH spot here in the opener.
Good strong swing on this one. Caught a little bit back. But he does have power to all fields.
And he's hit .385 in his rookie season with 2 out and runners in scoring position. That's the situation we're in right now in the 9th. Popped up, going to be out of play, and it stays 2-2.
Infielders should be reminding themselves, get dirty, dive, knock the ball, keep it in the infield.
The 2-2. Down low. Full count. Chris Iannetta, the Angels catcher, is on deck, who homered in the 3rd.
Well, every pitch had been away. They tried on that 2-2 count to surprise Crone inside. Frazier missed with the pitch. Perez out there to make sure they throw the right pitch on a 3-2 count.
With first base open, you can go for your perfect pitch.
Payoff pitch, way outside, and they're at first and second. Take you back to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and a rocket by Chris Iannetta. That got the Angels on the board. They later got a solo shot from David Freese. Each team has scored a run in the 3rd and in the 5th. Here we are in the bottom of the 9th. And it's Iannetta facing Frazier with a winning run at second. There's Westy Kuntz, first base coach, the guy who aligns the Royals defensively. Iannetta off the glove of Frazier, but Infante throws him out. And we are going to the 10th inning at the Big A. Extra innings in Game 1 of the ALDS. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Angels have knocked 2 out of the park tonight, accounting for their 2 runs. They always had an answer after the Kansas City Royals would score. It was an immediate response, and that's the way it stayed as we go to the 10th. And Kevin Jepson on the pitch for the Angels.
Another hard thrower out of that bullpen. Jepson, good fastball, sinking action, good slider. Interesting, the Angels bullpen has been outstanding. The Royals bullpen has bent a little bit, but just hasn't broken.
75 punch outs in 65 innings. He knows how to put you away.
And Ned talking, the pitcher goes to Dave Allen as they try to decide. This game goes deep into the night. Who's going to account for those innings?
Jepson will face Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Alex Gordon here in the 10th. Getting into the engine room for the Kansas City Royals in this inning. Hosmer takes high and away at 96, 1-0. Hosmer walked his first time, has grounded out, flied out to right. He's the guy who delivered the big 12th inning triple. Going the opposite way in the wild card game, would score the tying run on a high chopper by Christian Colon, and then the Royals would go on to win it on the Perez RBI single. That's how they earn their way into this game, and we're in extra innings. Breaking pitch, pretty. 1-2.
Contrasting that curve with Jared Weaver's curve. Jared Weaver's curve is in the 60s, 67. That's an 82-mile-an-hour downward breaking curve.
Got him swinging. 1 out here in the 10th.
Sometimes your young players in the postseason, you see that good kind of almost like a knuckle curve by Jepson under the bat of Hosmer. Everyone starts to get in that mode of wanting to be the hero to hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, you got to avoid that temptation. Your swing gets a little longer, a little slower. Try to stay within yourself. And Hosmer does have, you know, power. Does have good opposite field power.
Billy Butler's got power too. He takes a strike.
But trying to hit a home run in these situations, you end up getting jammed or swinging and missing at a bad pitch. Treat it just like the first inning.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. Butler, a guy who had career highs in 2012 in both homers and RBIs with 29 and 107. Those power numbers have dipped this year to 9 and 66. He did knock in 2 runs in the wild card game. Did you like games like this, Cal, when you were playing?
Playoff games, it doesn't matter. I mean,
playoff games, extra innings,
yeah,
nail biters.
You're exciting. You're into every pitch. Your adrenaline's flowing. Your focus is as good as it could be. Yeah, you'd like to be in these games.
In the 5-game series, of course, everyone's fighting for that game 1.
Given my druthers, I'd like to win 7-0.
Of course you would.
Get a couple hits. Pitching's just been too good today.
High and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Butler with Alex Gordon on deck. Gordon, the Royals' best RBI man this year. Breaking pitch stayed upstairs, and there's a 1-out walk to Butler. Let the track meet begin.
Yeah, you might want to go back and rethink that 3-2 breaking ball right there, because it's not just Butler on first base. Now it's Gore.
Terrence Gore is so fast that when he jogs out of the dugout, you almost miss him.
Tried to fool him with a 3-2 breaking ball. Didn't work.
And you will fool them, especially if you have a 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball that you have to protect against, but you also have to throw it for a strike.
Now keep your eyes on Gore at first. He's 23 years old, kid out of Macon, Georgia. Rookie season. Didn't get a hit in 11 at bats, but was 5 for 5 in steals and stole one the other night in the wild card game.
When they steal, they're going to steal early. They had 153 steals, 98 of them came on the first or second pitch. They want to go as soon as they're out there.
That first play was just to hold the ball as long as you can, see what happens, and then step off.
Throw over, and he's back.
So he comes back with a hold it for a little longer and then throw over. One of the worst things you can do to a runner is to freeze him by holding the ball a lot longer. Almost seems like it puts you in your feet, almost like at a race. You're listening for the gun to go off. If that rhythm is not there, you get a bad jump.
Again, he's back.
I don't know if Gore needs to get a good jump. Inet has been outstanding all year, and it's got a strong arm. But we've seen Gore already almost outrun the baseball.
Gore with the lead. Gordon at the plate, still waiting to see a pitch from Jepson. Not going, and Gordon takes 1-0. Ronnie, when you're in a situation like this and you got a guy over there you know is just itching to go, how big a distraction? How do you handle it? How do you stay focused on the hitter as well?
Well, that's great. I think what you have to do is just premeditate it before you throw a pitch. You decide, okay, I'm not throwing this pitch. I'm throwing over. I'm going to hold the ball. I'm going to slide step, do whatever it takes. But you have to have a lot of focus on the hitter.
Gore had a huge jump and swiped it easily. The throw was high, but even if it's on the bag, it's not in time.
I mean, with Gore, you got to worry about him stealing second and then third. Because they've been getting into scoring position with less than 2 out with the stolen base.
In the first 2 pitches, they're going. That slide by Gore, lucky he didn't hurt his leg.
We've seen him with a couple of late slides. Had one the other night as well. And after the stolen base, with first base open, Gordon draws the intentional walk. And here's the guy who walked off the A's the other night, Salvador Perez.
Well, the problem you have here is Mike Butcher's going to come out to talk to Kevin Jepson is, yes, you have, well, you were talking before about the walk-off. This is the hit that just got past Donaldson to win the game in the wild card for the Royals.
Christian Colon crossing with the game winner.
This is exactly what Kansas City does to you on the base pass. Now you have to come out, you're talking about it, probably saying, okay, yeah, let's not worry about him totally and not be able to deliver a pitch to home plate, but you still cannot let him steal third base here.
They had 29 steals during the regular season, so they have that talent. So not only does Jepson have to worry about the hitter Perez, he's also got to worry about Gore at second base.
Perez, a good guy to double up at the plate.
Now you got Howie Kendrick holding on, giving up some of his position, which then creates another hole to shoot the ball through.
Breaking pitch over 0-1. Terrence Gore looking over at Mike Jershely, the Royals third base coach. The 0-1 is line foul. Kevin Jepson working in a tie game, top of the 10th, with the speedy Terrence Gore at second. And Perez at the plate.
An inside move that has worked before against the Royals, used by Jepson there. Usually we talk about the outfielder's arms on a base hit. You don't need to. Any kind of base hit, Gore is going to score. That's how fast he is.
Well, sometimes you can watch the back runner. Look at Gordon right here looking ahead. He's going to try to gauge whether Gore takes off, and he's going to take off as well. So sometimes it can give you an indication of when he's going to go.
Fly ball center field. Trout is there. 2 down here in the 10th.
That's a big out right there. Now it defeats the stolen base of third, even though you're 90 feet closer. You can't score a run with a sacrifice fly. You still have to get a base hit now to score him.
Only issue, though, is if Gore decides to go here, he might take away that breaking ball in the dirt from Jepson. Salvador wanted to come through again.
Well, here's Omar Infante.
Yeah, old school is you're already in scoring position. New school is get to third, and there's so many other ways to score. And we'll put pressure on you to not make that breaking ball in the dirt.
Again, the inside move, and he looks him back. Infante knocked in the second Kansas City run with a sacrifice fly. That 2-1 lead didn't last long. David Freese tied it up when he went deep.
Other thing you have to worry about if you're Albert Pujols, if it's a bang-bang play on an infield grounder and it doesn't go your way, Gore can score on that too.
Yeah, it's true on any infield single, or if you dive and knock the ball down, you have to be aware, not just that there's a play at first, Gore can go second to home.
Well, we've already seen that this year. On a high infield chopper, he scored from second to win a game.
Really only a few people in the league that can do that. They can put that sort of pressure on the infield. If you're making a tough play, sometimes you might have to abort the play to first base to preserve that run.
Man in the middle there is Gerard Dyson, another speedster. Gore dancing around out there at second. Infante comes up empty again, 1-2.
So far, just throwing the ball right by Infante.
He was in a big spot in the 8th inning in the wild card game and struck out. Go-ahead run is at second. And he just did get a piece.
Painting the outside corner with 94. Just barely gets a piece of that.
Gore and Gordon the runners. A ball and 2 strikes to Omar Infante. Fouls it back over our heads, and it stays 1-2. Infante's a guy that spent a little time in Detroit, solidified the second base position there when the Tigers needed it a couple seasons ago, and part of their run to the American League Championship Series, and now trying to do the same with the Kansas City Royals. Up and in, 2-2. This Kansas City team, it's always been about finding a way the regular season, when they scored 4 runs or more, they were 69-14. Vastly different in games like this when they had 2 runs, but the pitching's been great tonight. They're in it at 2-2 in the 10th.
You know, if you went around the league and asked players what they thought of Omar Infante, they would say he's a contact guy, he's a winning guy, he's the kind of guy that gets big hits for his team. Got a great reputation around the league.
Terrence Gore doesn't look like he's really looking to steal third base anymore. He's been out there with a chance to see the sequences of signs, maybe to pick a curveball. So far, Jepson's only thrown the fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 game. Popped up, will it stay in play? Plenty of room for Pujols. End of threat. We're heading to the bottom of the 10th at the Big A. It is golf's most exclusive event, the 2014 PGA Grand Slam of Golf. It all starts Tuesday, October 14th at 4 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on TNT. Catch them as they tee it up down there in Bermuda. Top of the order due in the bottom of the 10th for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Never do the decisions that organizations make with their roster for the postseason come more to light than extra inning games, because they weren't sure, the Kansas City Royals, whether they're going to put Danny Duffy on the roster or not. He was the starting pitcher all season long. Hurt himself towards the end of the season, but then came back, and now pitching one of the most important innings they've had all season long.
That Saturday afternoon in Yankee Stadium, he threw 1 pitch. Felt some discomfort. They immediately went to the mound, and that was it for that day. Then he missed a couple of starts. He has pitched a half-dozen games out of the bullpen this year. And he faces Cole Calhoun, the Angels leadoff hitter. Calhoun swung at the first pitch he saw tonight and drove it to the wall in right center field, and Lorenzo Cain went back there and hauled it in. He singled in the 6th. And he was called on to bunt in the 8th and popped it up to 3rd.
Despite his 9-12 record, a sparkling 2.53 ERA for Duffy.
He's made it back from Tommy John surgery in 2012. Delivers high, 2-1.
Interesting to watch. Duffy's doing a little bit like Herrera did, shaking out his arm like he's not loose or uncomfortable.
They're not playing aggressively, no doubles here. I'd say they're pinching the line at 3rd, and Hosmer's a little bit more straight away.
Big cut, fouled off, and Salvador Perez got the business end of that one. 2-2.
Cal, makes it almost tougher when you are the size of Perez. What a target for foul balls, and this one catches him in the left shoulder.
I'm really amazed watching him, how he does get down on one knee, how he does catch that low ball. He's a big guy.
For a 6'5" guy, he makes himself about as small a target as you're going to see.
Calhoun's a homegrown product for the Angels. Played at Arizona State. 8th round pick in 2010. Good outfielder, covers ground, good arm, and a leadoff hitter. And he takes up high, 3-2. Mike Trout waiting on deck, waiting to make his mark offensively in this game.
I think you can be pretty sure that if he walks and gets a hit, you're not going to see Trout bunt him over.
Danny Duffy, the 7th Kansas City pitcher used in this 2-2 game. Jason Vargas started. And of concern for Kansas City, the situation with Kelvin Herrera. Their 7th inning guy who came on and faced one batter and left with some forearm discomfort. He'll be checked out tomorrow. The payoff to Calhoun. To left, and that's going to fall in front of Alex Gordon for a leadoff single. Nice piece of hitting by Calhoun to lead off the bottom of the 10th. Flashing back to May 23rd. And Trout on the rocks off of Duffy. And that's the matchup tonight in Game 1 of the ALDS.
After the home run by Freese in the 5th to lead off, base runners, they've had the first runner on in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and now 10th.
See if they can cash in here, and a quick snap throw. Almost caught Calhoun.
Luckily goes to that back of that bag. Good tag by Hosmer.
One of those flat-footed zips over there to first by Duffy. Trout's 0 for 3 with a walk. One ball, no strikes. One ball and one strike to Mike Trout, who got one he liked right there, Cal.
That was the best pitch he's gotten tonight. Left the ball just a little over the plate. Moved down where he likes it. He had a good swing at it. Clearly they want to pitch him in, though. They want to try to tie him up.
Cole Calhoun, leadoff single. Leads from first while Trout waits.
I think the left-handed Duffy kind of neutralizes any of the speed that Calhoun has at first base.
See that 0 for 9 with runners on. All the offenses come with a long ball for the Angels. Home runs by Iannetta and David Freese. In the hole, Escobar gets the force at second. Trout reaches on the fielder's choice. Smooth fielding Escobar made the play in the hole.
It was nice recognition to know that we just need to get a force out at second base. Not a double play ball for sure, especially with Trout running. Fonte acts as a first baseman. Make sure he stretches out and gets the call at second.
Almost broke into the splits before throwing that ball to second base.
So Trout's at first, and Albert Pujols steps in. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Small sample, but 2 out of 3 against Duffy. Took a little off, called strike one.
Didn't look like Albert liked that call a whole lot. Real borderline pitch.
Trout with a lead at first. Pujols at the plate. Duffy on the mound. And Pujols steps out. Duffy was a third-round pick in 2007, drafted by the Royals. And in 2010, he actually stepped away from the game for a time, for a few months, to reassess his life priorities, and then return to the game. He gets this one popped up in the infield. Hosmer makes the play. 2 down. I would say that would be a priority right there, and he's gotten rid of Pujols. And it brings up Howie Kendrick.
Outfield's playing a little deeper. Defending against the doubles.
Duffy's keeping Trout just close enough. He's had a high of 49 steals. I was talking about he's not steal bases as much as he used to. 16, only 2 of them coming against a left-hander.
Fouled off by Kendrick. Cleanup hitter 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. He's the guy who hit the ball to right in the 6th inning. That Aoki made a great play on. One of 2 he made. Up and in. And the count even to Howie Kendrick. So Royals pitchers have done their job with the 2, 3, 4 hitters. With the 5 and 9 hitters both homered. Breaking pitch, nice one. 1 and 2. Just dropped it in, Ron.
Beauty by Duffy. Good curveball. We saw the changeup he threw to Duffy. And that's why his ERA was 2.5 this summer.
Powell straight back. And it's still 1 and 2. Mike Scioscia, his Angels, the World Series champions as the Anaheim Angels in 2002. Haven't been in the post since 2009, and they come in with the best record in baseball. Another breaking pitch. That one stayed up. 2-2.
Said it was a long time waiting when you think about these Angels, because when they acquired C.J. Wilson, Albert Pujols, and spent all that money and got Josh Hamilton, you just thought it would come easy for him. But the Oakland Athletics were better the last 2 seasons.
Howie Kendrick battling Danny Duffy here in the 10th.
You were talking about it before, of not allowing any doubles. See Dyson getting ready in case they need him. But the outfield for Kansas City is playing so deep to try to stop the extra base hit also.
And he struck out Kendrick for the 3rd out of the 10th. Danny Duffy does the job. We're going to the 11th. For your playoff viewing on Friday on TBS, 11:30 in the morning in the East. Game 2 of the Tigers-Orioles series. Baltimore cruised in the opener, blowing it open late. 9 o'clock Eastern time, we have game 2 of this series, the Royals and the Angels. And here in game 1, it's a dandy. Going to the 11th, tied at 2. And Fernando Salas is the new Angels pitcher.
Well, Salas is a guy that closed some games for the Cardinals early in his career. Good kind of sinking fastball and breaking ball. Kind of been a good luck charm for these Angels this year. Out of the pen, 5-0.
Came over with David Freese in that deal that sent Peter Borges to the Cardinals. Ball 1.
It's funny, when you play on a team sometimes, one guy in the bullpen seems to always be that guy who pitches late in the game and seems to get the win each and every time.
Moustakas, the number 9 hitter, walked in the 3rd with 2 out and scored the first Kansas City run. That came on a double by Alcides Escobar. In the 5th, Alex Gordon doubled and scored on a sacrifice fly by Omar Infante. That double by Gordon, which Trout lost in the lights, is the last hit Kansas City has had. Fly ball well hit to right. Calhoun is back, and that ball has reached the seats. It's a solo homer, and it's a Kansas City lead. Mike Moustakas has given the Royals a 3-2 lead. Calhoun was back hoping to play a carom, but it found the first row.
I'm still trying to figure out what the pitch was. 85 miles an hour.
Went out about 100 miles an hour.
Just had enough.
The Moose loose in Anaheim. Fouled off by Escobar.
What were you saying about those no hits for Kansas City since the 5th? There's one.
Never mind.
I mean, a frustrating year for Moustakas in many ways. He had the home runs, but his average was down. Some errors in the second half. That can all be made up for with that one swing of the bat.
He's pumped too.
He's having trouble catching his breath. It was a breathtaking moment for Kansas City.
Just flipped that out of here, didn't he?
First homer for Moustakas since August 25th.
Crazy game, isn't it? It seemed every inning Angels had a chance to score, each and every inning. And finally, the Royals punched something across.
The 1-2. Missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And they usually don't score their runs via the home run.
They hit the fewest in Major League Baseball. 95 in the regular season. Only team not to hit 100. Escobar pops it up behind third. Ibar is back. Squeezes it for the first out.
And think about this. Ned Yost and his use of the bullpen has left his closer. So Greg Holland's still available. And throwing.
And ready to become the 8th Kansas City pitcher of the night. Here's Aoki, whose contributions in this game have been on the defensive end, because he singled in the first and was picked off. But 2 great catches in right field have kept the Angels off the board.
He really has been the difference in this ball game. Why Kansas City has been able to keep it tied for so long. Is their great outfield defense throughout this game.
In the air to center. 2 out.
It was Alex Gordon who said that the Kansas City Royals always seem to find a way. Sometimes they have a different hero every night. Moustakas looking to be that hero tonight.
And here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain looking for his first hit of the night. 0 for 4 in the 3-hole. He watched that all the way to the mitt. Ball and a strike. Fernando Salas coming on here in the 11th and giving up a leadoff home run. That's hit well at second. Kendrick played it off his chest and threw him out for the 3rd out. But for the 2nd time tonight, a number 9 hitter is homered. This one by Mike Moustakas. Now can Kansas City hold that lead? Bottom half of the 11th. Royals 3-2. And their closer is on, Greg Holland. Gerard Dyson with speed to burn. He's in center field as Cain moves to right.
It's almost hard to believe that you would take out Aoki for defensive purposes after the game he's had tonight. Holland, 2 back-to-back 40-plus save years. Last time that was done by a Royal in the early 80s by Dan Quisenberry.
Holland late to the ballpark today. He and his wife Lacey welcome Nash Gregory Holland into the world in North Carolina. But he's here and ready to go in the 11th and throws a strike to Gordon Beckham. Ran it in and missed. Ball and a strike.
You saw that he had 46 saves out of 48 save opportunities. Only 2 he blew. He blew 2 with 1-run leads. 14 out of 16 this year.
He's ahead of Beckham. A ball and 2 strikes.
Basically a fastball and a really good down slider.
Impeccable control also.
And Gordon Beckham goes down swinging to lead off the bottom of the 11th.
It's almost a slider that he really gets over and almost breaks back like a sinker. It does have a downward break.
Kansas City 2 outs away from taking game 1. The switch hitting Eric Ibar stands in left-handed. This guy is tough.
That's filthy right there.
That's good at breaking balls you're going to see.
Ibar to be followed by Josh Hamilton. No balls and 2 strikes.
Is there any doubt what the third pitch is going to be here to Ibar after 2 breaking balls in the dirt?
Cal, talk to me about the difficulty in laying off of that pitch.
I was just thinking Brad Lidge comes to mind. Power fastball and a hard over-the-top slider. It looks just like a fastball. You know, you're not going up there expanding the strike zone because you're really jumping out on the fastball. You think it's a fastball, and then the bottom just drops out of it.
You know a guy has a good breaking ball when you can look for it and you still can't hit it.
Miss down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Trout and the Angels hoping for some 11th inning magic, down 3-2.
It's breaking so much it almost looks like a power fork ball. But it's a breaking ball. It's a slider.
Two down.
I don't think he called it on the swing. I thought he called it on a foul tip. Socha's mad because if he called it on the swing, he wanted him to check with the third base umpire.
I thought he called it on the swing.
Yep.
There's that dot you see from the slider on both sides. From that angle, he looks like he might have checked it. This angle might not be so. Yeah.
Oh, he definitely checked his swing there. Socha's got a beef, legitimate beef.
And it's so hard for the home plate umpire to call that, in my opinion. You're focusing on the pitch. You're seeing a flash out of the corner of your eye. You see movement.
Angels are down to their last out. And it's Josh Hamilton at the plate. And his last time with a runner at second, he's struck out. As the Angels tried to rally in the ninth. He's 0 for 4. Popped up to the only guy on the left side of the infield. And the guy who homered is the guy who squeezes the final out, Mike Moustakas. And game one of the ALDS goes to the Kansas City Royals. They won the wild card game in 12. They take game one in 11.
The Royals were out-homered this year in games played against the Angels, including this one, 12-2. But no bigger home run than Moustakas in this game.
Yeah, they were kind of boring with their offense tonight. They didn't steal base, create havoc. They win with the long ball.
And the long ball off the bat of the number 9 man in the order, Mike Moustakas, off Fernando Salas in the 11th inning. Wow, what a week this has been for Kansas City sports, huh? They have Monday Night Football in their town, and then they have the first playoff game in 29 years, which they win. And then they come out here to Anaheim and take game one dramatically over the Angels. Let's go down to Matt Weiner.
Thank you, EJ. With the hero, Mike Moustakas, you guys are kind of liking this postseason thing.
Oh, absolutely, man. This is unbelievable. Having a lot of fun in our first postseason. It's just been awesome so far.
You hadn't had a hit since the 5th inning. What were you thinking when you got up there?
Doing whatever I can to get on base. I mean, we got speed on the bench, and I was just trying to do whatever I could to get on base and let those guys do their magic, and I was fortunate enough to hit one out.
How ironic is it that this team, last in the majors in homers, wins this game with a long ball?
We've been doing it any way we can, man. It's so many different every night. Someone's stealing a base, and tonight we were able to get a home run and win a big ball game tonight.
Jason Vargas gave you a solid start. Your outfield defense was incredible tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Lorenzo Cain's one of the best center fielders in baseball, and Aoki makes some unbelievable plays. And we're able to, cut their rallies down a little bit on some huge catches out there in right field and center field. And, the hats off to those guys.
Congrats on the moment.
Thank you very much.
EJ?
Matt, no hug tonight. You got one from Perez the other night. Nothing from Moose. But Moustakas does have this in store for him. And he'll take it as Kansas City takes the opener. The final score 3-2 here in game one of the American League Division Series. For Ron Darling and Cal Ripken and Matt Weiner, the rest of the crew, this is Ernie Johnson saying goodnight from Anaheim. TBS, your home for the 2014 American League postseason. We're going to take a quick break and urge you to stay tuned for the postseason show on TBS, presented by Exxon and Mobil. Casey Stern right around the bend.